Hello everyone. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? Apologies. New background, as you can see, if you've ever seen any of my videos before, that is part of the reason it's been so long. I won't go into all the details, but suffice to say, I'm back for this video on the simple factory. Still not a design pattern yet. We looked at the factory function in the last video, so a way to make lots of objects. And this time we're going to look at what I've heard called a simple factory, which is a way to make lots of different kinds of objects. So where we're starting from is the end of the factory function, where if you remember, we got kind of a task to make a cool, hip web page that makes circles, and we did it. Did we ever do it? Look at that, incredible. So now the game is they've come back. Your employer, whatever, said circles, absolute hit. How about we get some triangles in there? How about we get some new shapes? Okay. Well, I've got this make circle function. It's a factory function. It can make as many circles as I want. But now they want triangles. All right, what are we going to do? Well, so this is the code that we had last time. I've just copied it into a new thing called Simple Factory and changed the title and stuff. So what we're going to do, this is using the class version here, and we've also got the kind of function version. I'm going to take the class one off. We'll just keep using this function one, so we don't need new, and we don't need circle.circle. It's just like that. Let's just check everything still works. I have to refresh because this is just a static web page. Cool, it does work. So let's not waste any time, because I do tend to waffle, don't I? Let us make a make triangle function. Go like this. It's going to be a triangle this time. Copy that. Copy and paste. No. Come on, I'm being recorded. Let's use the multi-cursor to look cool. Still looked a bit slow though, didn't it? I think that probably would have been faster if I copied and pasted. Anyway. This is still making circles. We need to use a polygon with how many sides on a triangle? 3 sides. 3 sides on a triangle. Ha ha ha. Which way should we have it pointing? Feels like it should point up, right? Like a pyramid. Because why not? So x would be 50%, y would be 100%. And then the last x would be 100%, that would be 0%, the y. And I guess we should have a different background color, because why not? Oh dear, still pressing the Windows key instead of Control. This Mac to PC transition. The old work laptop, personal laptop problems, same keyboard. What a life, huh? So we need another button as well, don't we? Because we got our cool function. So let's take this whole thing, call it add triangle. Same old typos. And then what we got? Yeah, let's have another event listener. We could add one higher up, couldn't we? And then see which button was clicked. But let's just do this. Add triangle, make triangle. Oh my days, come on, stop pressing the Windows key. Just press Control. You know what you're doing, man. Refresh. Alright, what we got? Add circle, a triangle. Well, I do believe I promised you a up pointing triangle. This is a down pointing triangle. What I did was I got the y-axis wrong. So 100% on the y-axis is going down, not up. So if you just reverse all those y-axis values, then you would get an up pointing triangle. But you know what? I like my down pointing triangle now because it's what we got. It's what we got. Right. So now, have we made a simple factory? No. What we've done is made two factory functions. Now, is that a bad idea? No, it's not really, because, you know, single responsibility principle and general good coding, unit tests, things like that. The make triangle is responsible for making triangle, make circle responsible for making a circle. Great. So if we were to make a simple factory, why would we even bother? This is all right at this point. Well, let's start making one, and then we can see. So what we'll do is we'll call this shape type. Doesn't sound great, does it? But I want to call this shape. So yeah, shape type it is. Slow clicking. This is shape, your shape too. And we're pretending make a shape, but this is just circles. So what we need to do is if shape type equals circle, then make one. Wow, incredible. We are also going to need to plunder this code, aren't we, for make a triangle. And can you guess what we need to do here? Yes, you can. We are going to do another conditional. Ta-da, we're finished. It's only 50% of a joke. This is a simple factory. It is just a factory function with a conditional in it. Normally ends up being quite long, but you're basically taking some sort of parameter saying defining what you would like to make in that factory. In this instance, it's different types of shape. Yeah, a bit abstract, I know, but this is it. Yeah, that's it. So, like I was saying, what's the point? Why we even bother with that? So I'll do make shape. We'll just check that this works first before I go waffling on with broken code. It's bad form, isn't it? So we'll just make sure a little refactor is working. Is everything we need? So I'm going to leave make triangle there for now because we're using make shape, aren't we? Yep. So let's do this. Circle, triangle. Triangle is not defined. I can't believe it. Oh dear. Classic. Right. So yes, obviously it needs to be a shape, not the undefined triangle. Sorry for wasting your precious time, but let's see. Yeah, some lovely shapes. Cool. Yeah, so why have we made a simple factory? Why don't we just have the make triangle button calling make triangle? We have to make circle button function all together. It's all set up, you know. This is all we need to do: make triangles, make circles. Right. Well, first, one small kind of advantage of using this simple factory is that you can share things between whatever you're making. So in this instance, like we've got the height, the width, the top and left. This all has the same calculation. So I can move that up here out of the conditionals and say, you know, any shape that gets produced by this factory, then give them this. And then you can get onto the specifics in the if statements. So then, you know, you've saved a little bit of code, a little bit of refactoring. I mean, I get that there would be less refactoring in future if you wanted to change the height of all of them. Obviously, if you suddenly decided you did want a height specifically for one of them, you could pop that in the conditional, right? You can just override it. So I think that's nice. But that is mainly nonsense. That is not the reason that we want to use a simple factory. And the reason that we want to use one is because if you've got the circle and the triangle set at what you would kind of call compile time, that's all you can do. So you got the button, it makes the corresponding object. But what about if you don't know what shape you're going to make until the user chooses? So say we had like an input field, and you could type circle or square in it. Which of these, which function would you put on it? Make triangle, make circle? Well, you can't put either, can you? So what we have is the make shape simple factory, and then you can pass in, well, we've already got this parameter here, shape type. We've parameterized it. So that means that at runtime we can decide what object we want to make. So that is really nice, right? Yeah, because suddenly we're not tied down. We can just say, it doesn't matter if you know this is already running. We've got this option to choose kind of dynamically what we want to make out of this function. Factory. Should we do it? Yeah, let's do it. Let's go to the HTML file and we'll add an input field. Input ID equals, let's call it choice. Yeah, I think that's just everything, isn't it? At least for this. Another button, and we'll call it submit choice, because that's exactly what it's going to do. And why don't we even give it some text, and it's going to say submit shape choice. Nice. Okay, then we'll do a simple factory. Go back to here. So we're going to do an event listener. Let's steal this. We're going to do a new event listener. Was it called submit choice? Sure, I hope so. Submit choice. Yes, it was. Great. On click, we want to make a shape. But what we're going to send in there, is, oh dear, let's just do another one. We're going to grab the value of the input field. And yes, I know this code looks a bit lazy, because it is. Right, so we'll put this shape in here. Will it work? Who knows? Let's try this one then. Refresh. Circle. Oh, nice. And what's the other one? Triangle. All right. So you see what we've done. We've made this simple factory. Because we've got that, and only because we've got that, we can now dynamically choose a shape, which was not an option before. So that is the main reason, yeah, to make a simple factory, so that you can, if you don't know what kind of objects you're going to produce before the code is running, then this simple factory kind of opens up some sort of dynamic parts that mean you can choose the object you're going to make at runtime, which is great, isn't it? Cool. Yep, so that is looking quite nice. Do you know what? We can probably even delete make triangle, can't we? This looks a little bit, well, I mean, this looks super lazy, but since we're talking about the simple factory, if we were doing this for real, I would probably do a switch statement. Basically, like if you know reducers, it would be more like that. So we would have this and case shape. No, you don't need to do that, do you? We would have some constants. No. Shape, that makes sense. We'd have circle, and that would be the string circle. Unfortunately, my mouth works a lot faster than my brain. Shape dot circle, you know, this kind of thing, and you put this code in there, and yeah, like I say, it would just look like one big, okay, I messed up the thing, messed up the paste, but yeah, just like one big reducer, that kind of thing. So you got a list, you can look down easily. If statement's fine as well, really doesn't matter. Cool, so that is it for the simple factory. I think I, as always, waffled a lot, but hopefully got the main point across, that it's for making objects, making different kinds of objects, especially when you don't know what objects you're going to need until the web app, web page is actually interacted with, which is most of the time, right? That's a very JavaScripty thing, maybe a very programming thing. So the question is, this is the second video on this factory function area, creational pattern, and we still haven't reached the design pattern, but this is leading up to it. So what's the problem with this? What's, you know, why would you need any more than this? And the thing is, this is actually great, and I think most developers do this all the time. I do. Yeah, it works, right? It's simple, it's great. But as always in the real world of business development, I mean developing for businesses, being employed is what I'm trying to say, is it changes a bit, doesn't it? The code's not always your own. Some people will need to use your code. What I'm getting at here is, this works fine for you, but say someone wanted to add a new shape. We're going to add square. Maybe the boss has come back and said, okay, we need to implement a square. You're like, no worries, I'm expert. I've already got this simple factory. I'm just going to slap another shape in there. Oh, actually, sorry, that's not going to work. Oh, why not? Well, you actually, I mean, we've already turned this code into a module, and the client wants to do it themselves. So you're actually not going to be adding any more shapes from now on. The client's going to add their own shapes. Or equally, if you work in a big organization, you know, you have different teams looking after different parts of the code. So if you imagine that, how with this code would you add another shape type, but you can't touch this make shape function? And I mean, that's kind of good practice as well, isn't it, to not have to keep changing. To know that you're going to keep changing something is a bad thing. If you like, okay, every 2 weeks we're going to have to change the internals of this function, then something's probably a bit off. And the factory method design pattern will hopefully be our savior in that case.